Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to Question Reality. I'm your host, Priscilla Leona, and we're coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Our show is broadcast every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 5:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time tuning in, our show will help you to question your career reality. Now, this show is for you if you're considering a career in the entertainment industry. Our guests will provide you with tips, advice, and resource information on how and what it takes to successfully pursue a career in show business. And our guests work in various professions and are at different stages of their career. So that means that we will definitely have someone on the show who will be able to help you with your show business career questions. We have Tony winners. We have Emmy winners. We have celebrity reality television stars. We have producers and directors, and we have behind the scenes people such as script supervisors and set designers and production assistants. So we cover the gambit here. I mean, it's a whole spectrum. So you will definitely find some profession on our show to get advice in how to pursue it in show business. You have to just go to our archive page, and that's where you check out our past guests, read their bios, listen to their interview instantly, or you can download one of the shows. And that is on the LA Talk Radio website. And that address is latalkradio.com. So you just click on the link at the top of the website. It says Channel 1. Scroll down. Look for the graphic of our show, which is titled Question Reality, and click the link. And this takes you directly to our archive page, and that's where you can view the list of all of our past guests. We've been on the air from 2008 until present, and we're going strong and getting better than ever. So we've got a lot of different careers that you can check out and get great advice, very sage wisdom from these guests. Now, you can also download our free app for your Android and iPhone and listen to any of the other exciting shows. Very informative. Check them out. Ton of shows on LA Talk Radio that you might be interested in. Just download the app from our homepage on the LA Talk Radio website, and that's located towards the bottom of the page, so you just have to scroll down. Now, our shows are also available for download on iTunes under the podcast section, and we're also on Stitcher.com. So just go to their websites and type Question Reality Radio in the search box, and then you can download us directly to iTunes. If you want to find out about our future guests, that's a whole different website. That's the official page, the official Question Reality website, and that'll tell you who's going to be on the show 6 months to a year in advance. That website is questionrealityradioshow.com. questionrealityradioshow.com. If you know anyone working professionally in the entertainment industry that would like to come on the show, promote their projects, and also give our audience advice and tips and resource information to help them pursue their goals, then refer them to the radio show and tell them to submit. Now, we have a wonderful guest for you today, as we do every week, but this is a little bit special today because we have Mr. Pete Kennedy. Let me give you his website address now so you can check it out while we're interviewing him. His website is PeteKennedy.net. PeteKennedy.net. He's also on Twitter at Real Pete Kennedy, on Instagram at Pete Kennedy Music, Facebook, Pete Kennedy Music, and he is on YouTube, Pete Kennedy won. So there you go. Check him out while we're going through this lovely advertisement. And we're going to get with Pete remotely because Mr. Pete is in Ireland on his tour. So that is very exciting. And let me just tell you real quick, we want to tell you about a play. This play is so good. It's so funny. It is called Spoon River, The Cemetery on the Hill. And isn't that a cool title? I don't know. I love that title. It's directed by Maureen Lucy O'Connell. And there have been several adaptations for stage and radio of Edward Lee Masters' collection of the 244 short poems, the Spoon River Anthology. So you have a lot to choose from, but this one, 100 years after their initial publication, the stories and their evocation of an earlier America still have this like amazing grasp on our imagination. And what they've done is they have a new stage adaptation that Maureen Lucy O'Connell has done. And she really utilizes the best of the Masters text and augmenting it with traditional songs and just new original material. So you can go and enjoy these timeless stories of love. Of course, you got lost love. You got to have loss with love and laughter. And this theater, very intimate theater. It's a 40-seat. And the running time is 90 minutes. There's no intermission. And the material is suitable for children 12 and over. Go to the website. It's Eclectic Company Theater. And that's ECLECTICOMPANYTHEATRE.org. Not .com, .org. And check out this play, Spoon River, The Cemetery on the Hill. And it runs until March 22nd. And they are located 5312 Laurel Canyon Boulevard in Valley Village. And they are Friday, Saturday at 8, Sunday at 7. They are, now listen, this is where it gets good. Okay, so it's a special offer for anyone listening today. Use the code RIVER, R-I-V-E-R, just RIVER, and you will get an $8 discount on the regular price, which is $18. So it'd be like $10, which is a good price for theater in this town. And this is a fantastic play. I'm just telling you, it's just, I've heard wonderful things about it. I have not gone to see it, but I have heard just amazing. So please check it out. Eclectic Company Theater. They would love for you to come see it. It's going to be probably sold out because it's a sold out house every weekend. So get your tickets for sure. Now, back to our lovely guest today, Mr. Pete Kennedy. And we are going to have a special treat for you today because at 5:30, we're going to be playing his latest hit. I think it's his latest hit. The information I got was his latest hit. We're going to be playing a song by Mr. Kennedy. And it's called Crazy Country Girl. Crazy Country Girl. And of course that immediately my mind goes to, what is that song where she took the bat and she beat his windows out at his car? Who was that? Oh my God, the American Idol girl. I can't think of her name now. It was like a total hit. But that's what I think of with Crazy Country Girl. But let me tell you, Mr. Pete Kennedy, let's talk about him. He is an award-winning singer-songwriter. Now, he's a country singer, but he's from Ireland. He's from Ireland, my homeland. I am Irish and English, as everybody knows. He is now based in Nashville, Tennessee. And since his debut in 2010, Pete has won international music awards. He has toured extensively across the U.S. and Europe, and he has really built an established, dedicated fan base. And you know that's what you need to do today to get a record label. You already have to have a dedicated fan base. That's what they look at, especially with distribution. His career gained momentum in 2010 with the release of his debut single, which was called This Time. And the song was brought to the attention of CMA Nashville's president, Lee Williams. And at the time, Mr. Williams was putting together a series of live shows in Nashville for the city's annual CMA Music Festival, and he invited Pete to be part of his International Artist Showcase. And the success of his Nashville debut and then his subsequent album release just put Pete, he just went flying on the road to stardom. It just increased his profile and his acclaim, and he just went on to gain international recognition when he was nominated for the Album of the Year and the Song of the Year at the BCMA Awards in 2012. And he won the album category for the Nashville Session Volume 1 at a ceremony in London later that year. So since that time, Pete has just been rocking and rolling and continuing to receive nominations from BCMA. And his latest album, which is titled I Am the One, which he's on tour right now again in Ireland, it was released in May 14, and it has just taken off. He's been playing all over the world in Ireland, and he's also releasing more new music this year. So, again, go to his website, PeteKennedy.net. His music's fantastic. You're going to hear it at 5:30. So, without further ado, welcome, Mr. Pete Kennedy.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's fantastic to be on your show, Priscilla.
My God, you still have a little bit of an Irish accent. I don't know. That Nashville is creeping in there, but you're still holding on a little bit to the Ireland accent. Thank goodness.
Oh, you can never get away from it.
I know. Well, let me ask. You can never
get away from it.
Well, it is so nice to have you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I know that you're currently on tour, joining us live from the I Am the One tour in Ireland. Let's just ask you, what is going on over there, Pete? How did this tour come about? I know you're from Ireland, but you're living in Nashville. So how did you arrange to come back to your homeland? Is that something that was planned, or did everybody say, what the hell are you doing? Come back here and give us a little bit of your music.
That was pretty much it, I think. It's kind of like, what are you doing in Nashville? Come back here. We want to hear you. So, it's just been an amazing, couple of years. Even listening to you talking it through there, I'm kind of sitting here going, holy hell, I have done a lot in the last couple of years, but it's just been a roller coaster ride, a lot of luck, I suppose, hard work over the years finally coming to fruition and getting the breaks and making sure I make the most of them. But this tour was my first full band headline tour in Ireland that I've ever done, and it's a lifelong dream fulfilled. I've been playing lots of shows in Ireland, which have been solo, acoustic, intimate shows, to fantastic audiences all around the place for numbers of years, and sharing my music that I've been writing. But this I wanted to bring some of the guys from Nashville over and really show the people what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working on, these are my projects that we're trying to get right, and doing the best we can with them. And it's just been amazing. It's just been received incredibly well, far beyond what I thought it would be received, because it really is kind of a new type sound in country music here in Ireland, and I'm just blown away by the reception it's after getting. It's fantastic.
Well, let me ask you, let's talk about that. Now, let's go back. As a child, when little Pete Kennedy was a child, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you want to go into music, or was that something that happened later?
It was always something I wanted to be involved in. I was that kid who used to walk around the kitchen with the sweeping brush or the broom or whatever, playing air guitar. And then that's when I was maybe 4 or 5. And then I got my first guitar when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I started learning a few chords. And doing some stuff as you do. And then, it just started to take off. I got more, and the older I got, the more involved I got, the more passionate I got about it, the more interested I got. I will say this, that I've always been listening to American country music since I was knee high. And West Coast country rock as well. The Eagles were my absolute favorite band when I was growing up. And I think a huge inspiration to me. And then Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and Michael John Montgomery, Colin Ray, all those great artists. And, and then Rascal Flatts and the Keith Urbans and, all the more modern stuff. So, it's been a major part of my life. Country music has always been. So it's just fantastic to be getting the opportunity to create my own slant on it, if we can call it that.
Now, were your parents supportive of your career choice? Your friends and your parents supportive of your career choice when you said, "I'll see you later, alligator. I'm on my way to America. Ta-ta."
It's one of those things, where yet again someone will say I'm crazy, because it's not a secure future. It's a risk. It's a massive, massive risk. But I think if you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself primarily, I think people around you are going to start believing in you as well. You kind of have to show that confidence in your own ability. You have to show that you've got the drive and the determination, and the will to get over the bad days as well as the good days. And I think once you can prove that to people, and to industry people especially, they start seeing, okay, this guy really has got, he's got a plan, and he's got goals, and he's just going for it. And you've got to have that mindset. When you have that, you have the people automatically kind of saying, well, good for you,
They gravitate towards you because they know you're serious, that you're actually going to do something. Because there are so many people, they're wannabes. I want to do this, I want to do that, and they talk a game, but they never actually have any follow through. So with someone like you, they gravitate towards you because you get it done.
Yeah, you have to, and there's such huge numbers. Like if you speak of Nashville in particular, it's a city that has, I think the last time I was talking to somebody that knew the exact figures, there's something like 3,000 people move to Nashville every month who want to be the next big thing. That's huge competition, massive, massive competition. And a hell of a lot of those people leave after a couple of weeks or a couple of months because they get there and they realize, oh crap, this is hard work. I really have to work at this, and it's a time thing. You got to appreciate at the start of it that this is not going to happen in a year. It's going to take years, like it does with every artist that goes down there. You have to really work hard at it.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you brought up Nashville because I understand, Mr. Pete Kennedy. Now, okay, I'm just so excited I can't get it out. The television show Nashville is one of my favorite shows, and I understand that you had a role on Nashville Season 3, which I am all over myself about. I can't believe it. I think Season 3 was that last season, or is this Season 3?
It's this current season I was on. Yeah, I was on episode 2 and 3.
Oh, did it already air?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and watch it. Where will I see you? Are you singing at the Bluebird?
No, I'm not singing at the Bluebird. I am on episode 2. I am sitting on a sofa when Luke Wheeler is getting ready to go out on his tour. He's at the soundstage rehearsing with his band, and I'm his executive manager or whatever you want to call it, and then just sitting there taking notes on his performance. And Deacon comes in, and there's a bit of a set too between the two guys, and that was pretty much my role in episode 2. But it was pretty awesome because I got to spend most of the day with the two guys and with a lot of the other crew around the set as well. It was very cool.
I remember that exact show. I remember that exact scene between Deacon and Luke over Raina. I know which one.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. And then episode 3 was a boardroom scene where Raina James and her manager Bucky and Luke Wheeler came in, and there was Luke Wheeler's management team was in there at the boardroom, and I was sat right beside Bucky and Raina and Luke, and we were doing things, all business. And again, we got to spend a day with some very cool people, and it was an absolute it was an amazing experience to get into that room and to see how it all goes down and to actually get to meet all the people in the real world and get to know them all. It was very, very, very special.
Oh my gosh. Is Connie Britton, who is the lady who plays Raina James, is she as wonderful as I think she is? Because she just seems like such a warm, approachable star.
She's very approachable, absolutely. On set, she's very approachable and always has a little word and, just a very, very nice person. I have to say, for the people that I've been involved with there and done anything with, in my time there, everybody has been absolutely fantastic, down to the directors, producers, everything. Just an amazing people, great people.
Well, Pete, that show, and I'm going to tell you, this is crazy for me because I honestly I'm going to tell you straight up, I've never really been into country music. Now, I've liked some of the old ones, like Ray Charles. I don't think he's not Ray Charles. The guy who was blind who sang country music.
That's right.
You know who? Is it
Ray Charles?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I like Patsy Cline. So some of the classics, but not been into the new country music. I like the classics. But I started watching this show, Nashville, and I was like, oh my God, everybody can sing. And not only can they sing, but they can act. It's like they can sing and they can act, and they're sheer perfection. The talent on this show. And my mother said, what are you doing watching that show? You don't even like country music. I said, I was mesmerized. When I started, I had it on in the background because my cousin's like, oh, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. Had it on in the background, and I heard that girl, the blonde girl. Oh, I think her name's Claire Bowen, and she was singing. Yeah. She started singing, and I gravitated to the TV. I was mesmerized by her voice. I could not believe, and she's Australian, and she sings country, and she can do the country accent. And I was just blown away by her. And not only that, but the show, the great storyline, the amazing talent they bring on, and I love how they feature, local acts. And I just think it's a great show, and I'm so glad that you got an opportunity to be on it. Next time, I want to see you singing at the Bluebird. We got to put in a good word for you, Pete Kennedy, because we want to see you singing at the Bluebird. Is that a real place?
Yes, it is, and I was there in November this year. I was invited in, special guests of Wood Newton, and to many other fantastic writers who were there on the night, and I debuted a song called "Be There For You," which I wrote on that night. And it's like the Bluebird Cafe, for anybody that's been there will, they'll know what it is. It's a very intimate venue. It's there's a lot of magic in there. There's been a lot of songs debuted and broken to the industry in the Bluebird Cafe, and that's one thing that I really, really respect about the Nashville TV show, is that it portrays how important the songwriting industry is in Nashville. And not even just Nashville, but around the world. The most important part of music is songwriting, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And it really comes across so strong in the TV show. I think it's, kudos to them all. It's a great thing that has happened.
Yes. I mean, that is probably the only show that really takes you behind the scenes, and you see the trials and the tribulations of what it's like to make it in Nashville. And they've tried to do similar shows. I think another show that's kind of similar, but focusing more on the rap end, is a new show called Empire. But I watched it. I just couldn't get into it. It just doesn't move me as much as Nashville does. And I tell you, it really relates to the reality. I've had many country music singers and songwriters on the show that are living in Nashville, and they said, Priscilla, this show is absolutely 100% authentic about what goes on behind the scenes. So I'm just so glad that you got a chance to be on it. And again, I hope you make it to the Bluebird on the show Nashville. Do they actually shoot the show? Do they actually shoot the show at the Bluebird, or is that a set of the Bluebird?
there's ABC Studios in Nashville, and it's just a couple of miles outside the city, and they've got their different sets there. But of course, yeah, they do on location shots as well. But they do some of the interior stuff at the studios. But you wouldn't know the difference. It's pretty close.
Well, we gotta get you on there. You better let me know if you get to sing at the Bluebird on the show, because I might miss it.
Let's make that happen.
Now, I want to talk, because we're about to play your song in 2 minutes. I want to talk about this particular song. I want to know what your inspiration was for writing this song, because everybody writes a song for a reason, I would imagine, if you're a songwriter. So what was the inspiration for writing Crazy Country Girl?
Well, as a songwriter, you can write a song a couple of different ways. You can write something that's real, something that has happened, something that has happened to a friend of yours, or something that is just, a situation that has changed your life in whatever way. But you also have to remember that songwriters are creators. And we created, myself and Jolia Tilbury, who wrote this song, she's a great Nashville writer as well. We created this scenario where we had this girl who lived up in the hills, and she was a pretty girl, and she was going down into town, and the guy was waiting. It's just the chase. It's the chase thing, where you've got this cheeky, crazy country girl who's coming down, and she knows the guy wants her, and all the guys want her, and she's driving everybody crazy. And it's just your typical every day, every Friday night, every Saturday night situation. And we wanted to get a couple of songs onto the album that was going to be fun, and something that would be an audience pleaser. And I can tell you, it's an absolute killer song to play live. It's just going down a bomb. And, we got exactly what we wanted. Because with a song, when you write a song, in my opinion, you need to have something that's relative that people can relate to. And this type of scenario, everybody can relate to it in whatever way. So it's fun. We just really had a blast, both writing it, recording it, and now performing it live at the shows. It's just incredible. It's
so the only connection you have is that you sang it. You didn't have a Crazy Country Girl back in the day, right? You didn't have your own little Crazy Country Girl, did you? Come on, give us the scoop.
No, I didn't. No. This was all made up. But it's your typical. It's your typical deal. It's the crazy country girl. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of these girls out there. It could be any one of them.
Okay.
It's the real deal.
All right, we are going to leave it at that. Now we are going to, again, let's. Who wrote the song? Just to get her name out.
Myself. Yeah, myself and Jolia Tilbury.
Okay, and who else? What other musicians are on the song, playing the song?
Playing the song, we've got on guitar, we've got Doug Greaves. On drums, unfortunately, Tommy Wells, who passed away just last year, which was really sad for everybody. A fantastic drummer and hockey player. He played hockey professionally as well, and he was a session drummer in Nashville. And an absolute gentleman. He played on all my albums over the last couple of years. And he just died. He just died. Just one of those things. I think it was a brain aneurysm or something like that. He's a big deal in Nashville and played on a lot of records. He was on drum, and we had Gordon Mote on piano, and Wanda Vick was playing banjo, and Mark Mosley, of course, the producer, he was also playing acoustic guitar on it. With some great players on there.
Well, let's make this a dedication to the genius that has passed on.
Tommy Wells.
Tommy Wells. This is Crazy Country Girl, and we're going to dedicate it today to Tommy Wells. Take it away, Ronan.
On the hill on a one-lane road, there's a pretty little girl living all alone. funny thoughts running through my head. Nothing I can do to get her off of my mind. With those big blue eyes and legs so tan, all the things she does to a grown-up man. Let me tell you, son, she's one of a kind. I'm seeing all the signs. I'm gonna make her mine. She got her best boots on and her hair hangs long. She parties all night till the break of dawn. Just one look will bring you to your knees. She will blow your mind with a little kiss. Lord, who ever thought a man could feel like this? How she wears that dress, leaves you begging pretty please. Crazy country girl. She parties all night to the break of dawn. Just one look will bring you to your knees. She will blow your mind with a little kiss. Lord, who ever thought you could feel like this? How she wears that dress, leaves you begging pretty please. Crazy country girl. Crazy country girl. Crazy country girl.
Great to hear. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. Now, I understand that you are working on some new music right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What are you doing?
All right, now I am writing and co-writing and preparing, kind of compiling a list of maybe another 12 to 13 songs for the next album. I don't know what the release date is going to be. It's probably going to be sometime in, I would say probably maybe September. So we're hoping to get into the studio in maybe July and get that down and get it all recorded. And a lot of work still to be done, but we've started the ball rolling, and hopefully it'll be a nice follow-up album to I Am the One, ready for the back end of the year.
What type of responses are you getting from fans and new listeners on the release of this song?
Well, it's. I suppose if I go back, we released the album in the United States on May 6th, 2014, just last year, and it was released on iTunes, obviously, and Amazon, and all the digital download sites, and it got featured as new and noteworthy with Rascal Flatts and Keith Urban and Brantley Gilbert and the Nashville TV soundtrack and all that. So that was a huge happening for us, to be able to compete, I suppose, in a sense, with the guys who were on major record labels. And I'm out there doing this, with the help of others on an independent scale, was very, very special. And we got out and we had fantastic reaction, great reviews, great response to it. Radio stations playing it all over the place in Germany, France, Sweden, UK, Ireland, Australia, across the United States, Canada, just incredible, an absolutely incredible response.
But what, if you had to name just a couple, what have been some of your absolute favorite experiences from this tour, your absolute favorites?
from this current tour was we actually finished up last Saturday in Burr Theatre and Arts Centre, which is a very, very cool, historic, special venue to perform in. And we had a full house, and it was kind of like, it's something I've always dreamed of. It's something I've always wanted to achieve, and to achieve that and finish off on a high with a full house, no seats left, sold out. And standing ovation from the audience at the end of the night. Everybody left with a smile on their face. Everybody was toe tapping the whole way through the concert. Even though it was a sit down concert, people were on their feet a lot. Been able to see the reaction of the fans in the audience when I was performing, knowing that the songs were meaning something, albeit the ballads, albeit the up tempo fast songs. It was just the most special, amazing night of my career so far. It was incredible.
Now, what surprises have you had in your country music career pursuit that you weren't expecting? Like something you said, wow, I can't even believe that happened. You weren't expecting it at all.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's a couple of things. There's a couple of good things and a couple of bad things.
We want to hear the bad and the good. The bad and the good.
Well, I went on tour with Neil Sedaka in 2012. I went out on the road with him in October in the UK on his major tour, and I opened for him. And we done, like I say, 10 nights across all the major cities in the UK, and we started the tour in Newcastle. And I walked out on stage, and it's just me and a guitar, and Neil Sedaka was doing the tour with just him and his piano. And I walk out, I've got my guitar strapped on, and it's my first time in front of a major audience of that level. And there's probably 3,500 people sitting there who've paid money to come in and hear Neil Sedaka. They'd never probably heard of me before at that point, and I was brand new to them. And the scariest thing that ever happened was I started my first song, and everything just hit me, and my right arm just locked up. And I got through the song barely, but it was kind of like one of those moments when, whoa, I wasn't expecting that to happen. And it was cool. It was very cool. And I kind of got through that first song, and I kind of had to have a little talk to myself and say, okay, this is a major opportunity for me. I got to get this together or I'm done. So I just took a few deep breaths and stepped back a little bit from the microphone and started playing into my next song and started talking a little bit about it. And from that moment on, it was just like a major turn. Everything just fitted into place, and the tour went amazingly well after that. That was a shock. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I thought I'd walk out there and with my head up and everything would be great. But when you actually get to that moment in your career, when it all just hits you when you're in front of that microphone, that's a scary place to be. You have no backing tracks to hydrate. You have no full band behind you to cover it up. It's just you. It's just you in front of 3,000 people who have come in and paid in to see the excellence of Neil Sedaka. So that was a scary moment.
God.
Performing for the first time in Nashville is something you'll never forget. That was amazing. As well as that, performing at the Bluebird Cafe was amazing. But I think the highlight, I would have to say, winning the awards at the British Country Music Awards 2 years in a row was just incredible. But definitely the highlight for me as an achievement would have to have been the feature on iTunes. You know, the world's largest retailer, besides that my music is up there with Rascal Flatts and Keith Urban and all the greats. You know, it was kind of like, you know, it's that one time when I was able to say, okay, people are really getting this. So that was major special.
In your opinion, what can a singer, songwriter, musician do to separate themselves from the competition? Because there is some serious competition in Nashville. What can they do to separate themselves and make themselves unique as much as they can?
If I had anything bad or negative to say about Nashville, it would be this: is that up 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there was probably 2,000, 2,500 writers who were getting cuts on various projects. Now there's only probably maybe an elite 200, 220 people who write nearly all of the songs for everybody, which is becoming the trend. It's kind of becoming a very tight knit. So if you want to be somebody that can separate out of that little group and have success, you have got to come up with something that's different. And there's an old saying in Nashville, it's been there for years and it'll be there for you forever. It's all about the song, and it'll always be all about the song, because if you have got a song that's good enough, you will get it cut. You will get recognition. And that's what got me to Nashville. It was a song that I wrote that got heard on radio, and that's what got me to Nashville. So it's always, in my opinion, it's so important nowadays to be a songwriter. Yes, you can be a performer, but to me, I think an artist nowadays needs to be a writer. You need to be able to write your own material. You need to be able to come to the table with something that's different, something that's going to be commercial, but still stay true to yourself and not get sucked into the whole super commercial aspect. Be true to your writing, be true to your beliefs and your, as what you want to deliver to your audience and the message you want to give. You've got to stick with all that as well. I think anybody that's looking at having a career, I think that's the most important thing. You work your backside off as a writer. You write every day, you keep coming up with new things, and you try and be different to what's already there, but something that's going to fit in, if that makes sense. You still have to be able to get that. So that's the most important part.
Well, I love what you just said, and I want to ask, how, in your opinion, how important is it for a country music artist to be based in Nashville? Because there are, like you, there are people in Australia, in Africa, in France, in Germany, who all want to be country music singers, but as you say, you had a song and that's how you got to Nashville. Is it possible for people in other countries to be able to start a music career in country and get to Nashville? How hard is it?
It's very difficult because, you've got that number of, again, I think it's I may stand corrected, but it's about 260 people a day moving to Nashville, most of them from music related. Wow. Business or songwriting or something. So the competition is fierce, and you've got to knock doors down. And you've got to remember all these publishing companies and record labels are getting songs submitted from all these people who are coming down with songs. I think the answer to the question, can you have I think the answer to the question would be, can you actually have a music career in country music outside of Nashville? And I think you very definitely can. It's taken a major turn. If you take Ireland and the UK, one of the most popular music genres that's actually coming through at the moment, that's gaining fans every week, is the modern country music. It's becoming super popular with more and more young people. The same in Sweden, the same in Switzerland. France, another example that there's huge demand for it now. That's why so many artists in America are looking at touring overseas, because they can see that that's out there for them now. Nashville is very competitive. It's a great place to be if you want to make it at a major level. You got to be prepared. Get down there, and you're going to be there for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. That's what it's going to take. And it's constantly showing up and constantly letting people see that you're serious about being there. You're serious about your career. The old stories. I think Blake Shelton, it took him 10, 12 years. Keith Urban, 14 years. It's all that stuff. It's just persistence and dedication.
So is that the advice that you want to give to, or I guess what's the best advice that you can give to foreign country singer-songwriters who want to come to America to have a successful career? What should they do before they get here or before they come? Or what can they do to establish themselves so that when they get here they can say, well, I did this?
Yeah, well, it's more the plan. You've got to have a plan. You have to have, like, a lot of people, I suppose, want to be artists turn up in Nashville, and it's like, okay, let's see what happens. And they try and get playing on some of the clubs in Broadway and, some of the singer-songwriter rounds that are on all over the city every night, all that sort of stuff. And that's great because it starts to get you known as an artist and known as a writer, and it's important to be doing that. But you have to have a longer-term plan. You have to kind of say, right, well, I get down there, and if I get heard by the head of a record label, I get signed and everything will be fine. We'll go forward. Like that scenario doesn't happen all that often. It's more like, I think country music especially, it's a relationships town in Nashville. It's a long term. It's time. You know what I mean? It's getting down there and having a situation where you can actually live there, that you can support yourself there, that you can actually make your way, give yourself enough time to be able to stay there and keep writing, keep getting out there, keep meeting the people, keep developing the relationships, and just trying to make your songs better and better and better, because if you get your song heard by the right person and the song is good enough, there's a very good chance that song will get used.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. All the advice you could possibly want from Mr. Pete Kennedy. My gosh, you just gave some really great advice. I mean, I would think that I wanted to ask you real quick before you left about your experience coming from Ireland. I wanted to know how that work ethic, or I imagine you have, how long have you lived in Nashville? I guess I should ask you first before I ask that question. How long have you been there?
I suppose the first time I went to Nashville was in the fabulous month, November 2011, which was the showcase before the CMA Awards. And I was only in Nashville for a couple of days. At that stage, it was 4 or 5 days, and a lot happened in that 4 or 5 days. I was lucky I got some television exposure, and some of the right people got to hear me. And then I went back home to Ireland again, and then I have pretty much since January 2012, I've been over there most of the time, with the exception of being gone back out on tour in the UK and Ireland and a few little things around Germany and that type of thing. So I suppose I'm going into my 4th year now. And it's a daunting thing. You get there and you get the first couple of weeks over you and it's all fantastic. And then you realize once you get a couple of weeks in, right, you know, you really have to work your butt off. You really have to keep the momentum going, and you have to be doing something that keeps your name in the circle all the time. So, like for me, work ethic, you know, I've never been scared of work, so that part is pretty much easy. But again, it's just been.
I'm sorry, we get, you know, with this Ireland, Los Angeles connection, we keep cutting off real quick because we have to go. Real quick question. How does Nashville accept foreign people coming in to try to be country music stars when there's so many people in Nashville who are natives? Is there any prejudice that goes on, or any, anything that's negative? Have you experienced, or are they embracing of foreign people coming in?
They absolutely embrace. They love to see the foreign people coming in, you know, especially at CMA Fest in the summertime when that's on. You know, they love diversity down there. So it's good for music. The more people you have from, you know, different walks of life and different cultures and everything, you know, I think it's just country music is growing so big at the moment internationally. You know, it's very important that there's an international presence in Nashville for sure, and it's very welcomed. From my experience, all I can say is that.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah. Everybody on foreign soil, flood on into Nashville, because Pete says that they are very embracing. I hope you don't get in trouble, Pete Kennedy. I want to thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. I wish you all the best with your career. Please come on the show again when you have some more music. You promised to come back because you just have given such great advice. I would really appreciate you coming on the show again, because we have so many more questions. So when you get your new music, please call me and let's have you back on the show.
Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And say goodbye to your fans.
Bye-bye to everybody. Talk to you all soon.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week on Question Reality. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.